It is 10 o'clock and good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Allen.
I'm Andrea Anderson. The Elkton School Board holding a meeting this evening to discuss the revision of guest policies. This comes after a registered sex offender was invited into a classroom as a guest speaker.
You might recall that on April 16th, this according to a letter from the district, Andrew Polly, who was an acquaintance of a teacher, was invited to the school to speak, later indicted for loitering after his presence was reported to the sheriff's office. The district says at no time was Polly left unsupervised, and following that incident, both the superintendent, Brian Jandahl, and the teacher offered their resignations.
The school board meeting tonight was the first meeting with public comment since parents and staff were made aware of this incident. Parker Brown attended that meeting, and he brings us the latest in tonight's top story.
Public comment was passionate, and many perspectives were heard this evening on whether or not the school board should accept the resignation of Brian Jandahl and Taylor Thompson. Ultimately, their fate was up to the school board. Elkton Public Schools staff made a point to walk in together, unified in support of their superintendent. Public comment began with speakers who praised the character of Brian Jandahl.
Brian's a good man, so he decided that he would put in his resignation basically to take the heat off everybody, including you. He figures if I take the heat, I can get his spotlight up off the school that he loves, that he's done well for. Now I think that's right.
Some parents still believe the school district withheld information surrounding the visit of registered sex offender Andrew Polly. One woman spoke on behalf of a few other parents, saying Polly had visited the school last year as well, and information was withheld from parents.
Why was the March 2023 incident not reported to authorities when it was brought to the administration's attention? Was it the principal's responsibility to report that incident as well? Because she didn't either.
The school board came together to make their decision on offers of resignation. They accepted the resignation of Taylor Thompson and wished her well. They rejected the resignation of Superintendent Jandahl. Both votes were unanimous.
Our staff is not perfect. Our board is not perfect. And certainly the public is not perfect either. As a board member up here today, I apologize to the public as well as to the staff of the school. With no policy in place, the checks and balances weren't there for the administration to review the credentials of Mr. Polly.
Superintendent Jandahl also announced tonight that he intends to retire at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. He says this was his intent all along, even before this incident. In Elkton, Parker Brown, Dakota News Now.